All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we are taking a deep dive into, well, this is pretty fascinating, I think, how the internet has completely changed the way people learn English.
Yeah.
And we've got two sources that we are looking at today. One of them is really focused on how the internet has revolutionized things.
Mm,
The other one is, well, let's just say it's really into grammar rules.
yeah.
So no matter where you fall on that spectrum, whether you are learning English, maybe you've mastered it already, or just interested in language, I think you'll get a lot out of this.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a hot topic. Language is constantly changing and evolving, and the internet, well, it's really speeding things up.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so let's jump right into our first source here.
Okay.
This is called, and I apologize if I mispronounce this, Note selezionate il giorno,
Mm,
0912-024.
yeah.
And this one really gets right to the point,
Yeah.
saying that the internet has totally revolutionized learning English. Instant dictionaries, online communities where you can practice,
Yeah.
language exchange platforms where you can connect with people all over the world.
Yeah. And even think about things like AI-powered language tutors or, language learning apps that you can use on your phone anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing.
It's amazing. I think one of the most impactful things is how the internet has really broken down those geographical barriers that used to exist.
Right.
Think about it. A student, let's say in a rural village in Nepal, can now, using the internet, access the same quality of English instruction as, let's say, someone living in London.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Before the internet, your options were pretty limited. You were kind of stuck with whatever resources were available locally.
Right.
Maybe some outdated textbooks, or you had to pay a lot of money for tutors, or maybe even travel to an English-speaking country if you really wanted to immerse yourself in the language.
Which is so expensive.
Yeah, it's not feasible for a lot of people.
Absolutely not.
But now, I mean, the internet just opens up all these possibilities. You can connect with native speakers from all over the world, immerse yourself in authentic content, movies, music, podcasts.
Right. All from your couch.
Exactly.
So then we get to our second source, called The Purpose. And this one kind of takes a different approach.
Okay.
So it's hyper-focused on, really mastering the core rules of English grammar,
Hmm.
especially the most frequently used rules.
Okay.
It even suggests that, maybe at first you can skip learning some of the more complex exceptions,
No, interesting.
just to simplify things and, you know, make it easier to get started. Do you think that makes sense, especially now with so many online tools available? I mean, is grammar really that important anymore?
That's a really good question.
Yeah,
It is tempting to think, okay, with all these, amazing online translators and all this information at our fingertips, maybe grammar isn't as crucial as it used to be.
right.
But, and this is kind of my personal take, I still think having a solid understanding of grammar is really important
Mm.
because it gives you that framework. It helps you understand how language actually works.
Oh, okay.
The nuances, the subtleties, the different ways you can express yourself.
Oh, interesting.
For example, think about the difference between saying, I like to read and I enjoy reading.
Okay.
So grammatically, they're both correct, but I enjoy reading. It just shows a deeper level of engagement, a bit more passion.
Huh.
And I think the internet can actually play a really important role here because it gives you access to this massive collection of authentic English text where you can see these grammatical rules in action and really start to understand those subtle but important differences.
That makes sense. But wouldn't just focusing on those most common rules limit a learner's ability to really grasp more complex writing, like
Right.
classic literature, or follow a really detailed argument?
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think it's all about finding that balance. The internet could be this incredible environment for learners to build that solid foundation in the core grammar principles first.
Okay.
And then, they can use that as a springboard to dive into the vast richness and variety of the English language
Right.
through, real world examples, authentic materials, real conversations.
Right. I mean, even when I was first learning Spanish online, it was totally overwhelming.
Yeah.
There's just so much information out there. It took me a while to really find a structured approach that worked for me.
Hmm.
And that actually kind of brings up another interesting point, doesn't it? Like, how much has the way that we learn actually changed?
Yeah.
Not just the content that we're learning, but the actual approach to learning itself.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that? Have you seen any major changes in how people approach language learning because of the internet?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest shifts I've noticed is this emphasis on personalized learning.
Oh, interesting.
So, before it was kind of like this one-size-fits-all approach. You had your textbook, you had your teacher, and everyone was kind of expected to learn at the same pace in the same way.
Right.
But now, thanks to the internet, we have these incredible adaptive learning platforms.
Oh, wow.
They adjust to your pace, your learning style.
Hmm.
And there's also a much greater focus on using authentic materials, like I was mentioning before. Videos, podcasts, articles, real world examples that really bring the language to life.
Yeah, it's so cool. And I think that kind of brings us back to that first source that we were talking about. And its whole point about the internet opening up access to learning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not just about having more resources. It's about having the right resources for you,
Exactly.
tailored to your individual needs and having them right there at your fingertips.
And that brings us to, I think, a really crucial question for everyone listening. How do we navigate this new world of language learning?
Yeah, how do you as the listener approach it? How has your experience learning English, or any language for that matter, been shaped by the internet? Have you embraced those online tools and resources, or do you still prefer a more traditional approach?
It's fascinating to think about because as English continues to evolve in this digital age, we're all kind of figuring it out together. What will be the most effective ways to really learn and master this language as it keeps changing and adapting?
Yeah, I mean, will technology eventually make, like those traditional grammar rules, obsolete?
Right.
Or will those rules always hold some kind of relevance? I think it's definitely something to ponder as we all, move forward in this ever-changing world of language.
Absolutely.
Well, that is about all the time that we have for today.
Wow, time flies.
Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it insightful and maybe even a little thought-provoking.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was. Keep exploring, keep learning, and we will catch you next time.
See ya.